Hello everyone and welcome back to another Train Sim World 3 patch notes video. So this is as of the 29th of September 2022. So this is from Dovetail Games Alex. Hello folks, thank you very much for your continued feedback on Train Sim World 3. Today we'll be launching the first of several post-release updates with quality of life improvements and bug fixes, as well as reintroducing the save game toggle for those who have been asking for its return. So, important note, this update will be a little staggered due to the certification process on different platforms. As we know how anticipated the save game toggle feature is in particular, we wanted to make sure as many players had it in their hands going into the weekend as possible. This means that Epic and Steam players will receive the update tonight. PS5, PC Game Pass, Xbox One, Xbox Series S and X players will receive the update tomorrow morning, and that is pending certification, and PS4 players will receive this likely after the weekend but before Tuesday, obviously when the Loco add-on DLC comes out. So headlines, and we've got a couple of screenshots as well. Added toggle to settings menu to enable and disable save game functionality. I don't know why you would do that, but you can do that. And this is disabled by default while it is currently being worked on further. Mouse sensitivity slider setting added. At present this is not functioning as intended, but we are working on a fix. Profile importation should now work correctly. Removed areas where rain and snow would appear underneath structures. Lightning will no longer strike under covers and will be at a greater distance from the player, which is good to hear. Fixed fog getting extremely dense and when going from high to low altitude. BR Class 465 tutorial can now be completed, also unlocking the achievement. Odd semicircular patches removed from various locomotives, including the Class 66. Double stock headlights will no longer always be toggled on. Added tooltip when recovering from emergency stop in the ICE-1. Reduced rain audio when inside the cab with windows and doors shut. Added deceleration sounds to the BR Class 375. And the M7 traction engine sounds no longer cut out after the first 4 coaches pass on Long Island Railroad and the Harlem line. And then this is the full channel logs, so this is the core, the user interface and system. And hang on, we've already... so scenarios and liveries will import correctly when transferring profiles. Added scroll to last selected route button when backing to the route selection menu. Added option to return to the timetable menu after completing a service. Added option to include exclude tutorials from quick play. Added difficulty and length info to campaign event user interface. Disabled the copy button when at max number of scenarios created in the scenario designer. Fixed progress bar color and wrapping of text in mastery menu. Hide discount banner on store items now on by default. Hide discount banner? That's why would you hide the discount banner? Fixed height of signed in profile widget. Added green tick to completed services in timetable menu. Fixed custom weather presets not updating sliders properly in weather menu. Scenario designer will show first stop length instead of shortest stop length. Pause menu will no longer toggle when clicking escape in the route menu. Pause menu will now correctly load 2D map. Debriefing screen names and experience numbers will no longer extend out of the window. Settings will now save when clicking apply with unchecked options, and store image thumbnails now load correctly. And then for gameplay, lightning will no longer strike under the cover. Fix for fog getting extremely dense when starting at high altitude, we've already said that bit. Fixed clothing material on characters and passengers to prevent odd shading and glitter-like appearance on edges. After rain stops, performance should return to same level, and T's Valley Line decals will now properly change colour. And for achievements, the Class 465 tutorial can be completed, thus unlocking the achievement, and also fixed introduction tutorial achievements. And then for southeastern high speed, remove snow from understation canopies inside tunnels and under bridges. Car stop signs visually updated to align correctly with the driver-only operated monitors. Route indication signals changed to match current destinations. Passengers should now board trains correctly on the platform at Ebbsfleet International. Players can no longer fall through the ground at Gravesend. And added wheel blur to MFA wagons. And then for Faversham, no rain will be inside the depot. Players will know. Is it probably supposed to be Ashford, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's supposed to be Ashford. No ram will be inside the depot, but it says Feversham. Player will no longer be able to walk through fences. OPO monitors should now be in the right places. Players should not be randomly blocked in Ashford around sidings. Lighting fixes for the North Downs tunnel. And then for the class 465, reverser and master key now work as expected in both immersion and classic input modes. Class 395, front destination should correctly display the final destination. The DSD pedal will trigger only when system is turned on and above 3 miles an hour. AWS TPWS buttons will only sound when either system is enabled and input is required and expected. Class 375, fixed issue whereby the cab wind was playing far too loud when a window was open. Reduced rain audio when inside the cab with windows and doors shut. Traction motors should now be audible during deceleration. And then for the class 66, couplers should now animate as expected. Adjustments to physics to avoid unexpected stalling at low RPMs. Cab light first time use reward should now trigger correctly. Removed semicircular white artifacts from wheels. And then for Cajon Pass, resolved issues that caused the player to be kicked out to the main menu suddenly. The 2D map will now update when selecting a range of start points. Fixes to scenario designer map tags. Correction to localization on free text sign. Updated scores to ensure players can get gold on the ES44C4 and SD40-U training modules. Removed semi-circular white artifacts from above all wheels for all Cajon wagons. And then specifically for the ES44C4, fixed issues relating to player getting stuck in a moving train. SD40-2 added rear headlight sound that matches that of the front headlight sound. And the bulkhead flat cart wheels rotate as expected when in motion. And then for Cajon Pass, players should no longer be able to walk through cars at Karl Ost. Players should no longer be able to walk through stairs at Castle Wilhelmsdale Station. Fixed pathing of ICE 1580 to not go on the wrong line running. Tunnel sign collectibles are now able to be picked up. Prevented train getting temporarily stuck in the icebreaker tutorial. Adding text tooltip for refilling brake pipe. Bug fixes to services. For the 185, adjusted cab windscreen to prevent errors involving SSR reflections of cab screens. PZB acknowledge will only work after passing a 1000 Hz magnet. CIFA and PZB can be triggered from gamepad and rail driver. For the 146, CIFA and PZB can be triggered from gamepad and rail driver. For the ICE 3, horn is now named correctly and correctly spelt Bremsen on the MFD. For the ICE 1, adjusted cab windscreen to prevent errors involving SSR reflections of cab screens, and players can now select each length of ICE 1 in the game menu. Added recovery from emergency brake tooltip on ICE 1. And then for the DBB Cajules, brakes should release quicker to prevent getting stuck on an incline. And then for Peninsula Corridor, PIS should now be better aligned to lampposts. Fix an issue with the first person camera on the route introduction to allow it to be completed. And then for the Nippon, player can now walk across the consist without needing to crouch. And for the F40, ditch lights will now pulse as expected. Hamburg-Lübeck should no longer have rain effect inside stations undercover, and for the route intro, doors will now close automatically. The Bakerloo line removed incorrect reflections appearing on side mirrors, and Pringles posters removed for PS4 and PS5 players. No, they were cool seeing them. Marseille Avion added many new sounds, including Mastery sound additions, fireworks sounds at night, and jet sounds during the day. Main Spessartbahn fixed crashes when loading certain services. Long Island Railroad, M7 traction engine sound no longer cuts out after first 4 coaches pass. Blank entry should no longer appear in the profile train selection. For the Harlem line, same as what I just said, the M7 traction engine sounds no longer cut out after the first 4 coaches pass. For Tees Valley line, TGR turnaround achievement now correctly unlocked on the Xbox One series and Windows 10. And Tees Valley line decals added to livery designer. And then for the DBBL 182, make sure the door interlock does not prevent you from using the throttle when the doors are closed. For the DBBL 101, adjustments to the AFB to keep speed offset below LAB, and decreased LZB deceleration to be more realistic for typical brake weight percentage of IC trains. Passenger lights from IC coaches will no longer bleed into the cab, providing improvements to performance. Reduced illumination from cab lights into tunnels, and for the Doppelstock, headlights will no longer always be toggled on. And that is your update for the 29th of September. which will be out, staggered release, so out tomorrow on PlayStation, out now on PC, and then PS4 will be after the weekend. But what does everyone think? Do pop your thoughts in the comments below. But that's going to be it from me. Thanks for coming in, and hopefully we'll see you next time. See you all. Take care. Bye, guys.